Hey guys, what's up? So it's been coming on 2 years actually. I can't believe that since I've had carpal tunnel surgery. And I actually have not done any follow-up videos or anything since right around 1 week, I believe, after my surgery. So I've had a lot more comments, a lot more viewings of those videos than I ever imagined I would. I'm not one of those people that is like a YouTuber, that's gonna stay on there all the time and comment and do more videos. It's just not me. I have a lot of stuff going on. This last year, I got married. Yeah, got married in June. So this last year, I was really busy with planning that, and can't believe we've already been married 6 months now, but time flies, and I always just have a million trillion things going on. But I did want to do a follow-up video to kind of just answer some questions that some of you may have. And if there's more questions that come in time, I may do another one. It just won't be as often, but I did want to, give it a try here, I guess. So kind of to give more of a follow-up of what came to be after my surgery. So going off of, I'm just going to jump in where I left off. I think my last video was 1 week. And of course, it's been close to 2 years. So some of this is kind of just going to be pieced together as best as I can. But I do remember that by May, so I had my surgery in March, and by May of that year, I had gotten a license to have my own home bakery license, if you will. So I could do cakes and cake decorating, pies, cookies, all that wonderful stuff out of my home. That was something that right before the carpal tunnel thing started happening, I really wanted to pick up decorating cupcakes and cakes again. That's something that I've always liked doing, honestly, since clear back in high school. So I thought, maybe I could try my hand at that again. It could be a good hobby. So there's a lot of you on here that did watch my videos or had comments or questions that were cake decorators, like as your job, your career. My experience, and again, this is just my experience. I am no one's doctor. I am not telling you what you're going to experience. This is just what I experienced. That is it. It did hurt. Right away I jumped in. I was taking on graduation orders that May for cupcakes, and it was painful. I'm not gonna lie. I kind of wish that it was something I would have waited at least a year probably to do. I do still do it on and off now, but I definitely could do it. It was uncomfortable at times. My hands, I noticed for probably the first year after my surgery, they would just get weak, very tired, very fast, very quickly. Didn't matter what I was doing. But I was able to do it. So if you're somebody that does decorate cakes or cupcakes or it works in that line of work, you're just gonna have to be patient with yourself, give yourself some time to heal, and I'm sure you'll be just fine. So don't fret about that. When I do go and do cupcakes and cakes now, I still do feel tiredness when I'm piping. It can be annoying. I know I took on a wedding one time where I had to do 200 cupcakes. I had to turn them into sunflowers. That was rough. It was really, really rough. So I don't know, weigh your options, it is your health, it's your hands, and you need your hands the rest of your life. So it's totally, your call, but it's something that I probably could only do as a hobby now. I will say that. I wouldn't want it to be my full-time job, but I would say I don't know what it's like coming from that being my full-time job. What my endurance levels would be. If that's something that I did every day, all day, I probably would have more of my strength and my hands would be built up for that job. So that's just one of my little side note things on what I experienced. I did go back to work 6 weeks after my surgery. Now, I worked in manufacturing doing, what did I do? I was a welder. So I worked in a factory making hydraulic cylinders, which I don't work there anymore. So I had been a robotic welding programmer too right before the surgery, and then chose to go back into production, and that was when the carpal tunnel flared up really bad. So when I went back to work 6 weeks later, I went on 3 weeks of light duty. Doctor released me full. When I came back, they had put me on some work that it was excruciating for me. Now, that was just my line of work. They were not accommodating me. My employer did not accommodate me in what I needed to be doing. There was things that were it was absurd to have somebody be doing after getting off of carpal tunnel surgery. So Some people would say, well, maybe they were trying to push you out the door. I don't know, I never will know, but I instead took myself out the door because I was done with it. So I decided to switch jobs. I went into another manufacturing factory around here where I drove forklift. I thought that would be amazing for my hands. And still, surgery was in March. I did the job change in July. And I got to tell you, I had to come in every day and start by stretching. Stretching was life. I had to stretch my hands throughout the day, all day. I mean, it was just part of it. Even driving a forklift, drive the little scanner things that you would use to, scan the barcodes and stuff to receive stuff in. That did irritate my hands, but it was totally doable. Life was fine. Everything was good. Could do stuff around, the house daily, just acts of living. Everything was great. I did continue to see a chiropractor, still do to this day. Chiropractors and massage therapists are a part of my health routine. Just like we go to the doctors to get physicals, I feel that my chiropractor for sure is something that has to be there for the rest of my life. Massage therapy as well keeps me moving, keeps me feeling good. But the chiropractor, one of the biggest things that I, speaking again, just from my experience, cannot hit on enough here that I thought was so huge for me, was acupuncture. Acupuncture moved mountains for me. I still do it to this day. Currently, right now, I've had a flare up, and it's not carpal tunnel, it's not setting back in or anything like that. But this on my right hand, which I am right-handed, right in this area right now is pretty irritated, pretty tight. It's been just mimicking symptoms, but like very, very, very minor. But right away when I know that stuff starts happening and that starts flaring up, I call the chiropractor. I'm getting adjusted and getting an acupuncture session in, and everything calms right down. So, I think it's something that with carpal tunnel surgery, it's definitely a good option. It can definitely help to, it totally was the best option for me. I couldn't have gone on without it. I was in so much excruciating pain, but it's been the best thing. But I think there is maintenance for some people that might come along with it. For me, I was definitely one of those. Acupuncture is a definite part. I still have to make sure that I'm stretching constantly. Stretching has to be a part of my life. What I found out is from the chiropractor is a lot of my issues stem from up here in the forearm. Those muscles getting tight, getting abused. But so I didn't stay at the factory. That was what I was going to tell you about with driving forklift. I found out forklift driving was not my niche. So we totally got out of there. But now I work at a medical staffing company. So I have a desk job now, and I am typing all day, like all day long. In fact, my job that I do now is not just where you're typing a little bit at your own pace, kind of walking away for a while kind of desk job. This is a very intense typing the entire shift, doing work on your computer for the full 8 to 10 hour shift. But I love it. I absolutely love my job. For me, it's been one of the best things that I've done is getting out of the factory. There's a little part of me that still misses it, but I think in the long run, this has been the best decision. I do fine with typing all day. It doesn't bother me at all. I did have to go to an ergonomic keyboard. The regular keyboard that they started me out with was giving me some like just little zings through my hands, and that just could have been, irritation from me getting used to just typing, sitting at home. I don't type like that, but doing it as a job, there's things your body has to get used to. Once I switched over to that ergonomic keyboard, it's been great. It's been fantastic. Like I said, I do get a little flare up in here, and that could be just from the space bar or the mouse. It could be a lot of things, but as long as I know that I'm being mindful and taking time to stretch, listening to my body, the things that it's telling me, my hands especially, I do okay. Like I said, I still can, if somebody orders some cakes or cupcakes, I don't do it as often anymore, but I have no problems with doing that stuff. As long as I keep it to, don't try to do a 200 cupcake order, I'm usually okay. If I keep it down to, hey, I just need a couple, 2-3 dozen cupcakes for my birthday party, I'm good. So those are kind of some of the things that I've experienced over these last couple of years. Kind of covers it for me, but there is a story that I want to share. And, surgery can be very invasive, no matter what kind of surgery it is. And I think with that comes a lot of time, comes a lot of money spent, lost time at work. And if any of you are like me, which many of you probably are, we have mortgages to pay, we have vehicle payments to make, we have weddings to plan and pay for, stuff like that. And I didn't have time to be down for 6 weeks, trying to plan a wedding. And I didn't have time to, switch jobs right before my wedding. And then the job I switched into didn't work. So I lost my job right before my wedding. It just caused a chain reaction. Now, one thing I will kind of back up here and share, that I did end up getting, because my carpal tunnel was so bad with the workman's comp, they did pay me out an extra settlement. So that definitely helped. It wasn't just my lost wages. This was another settlement on top of it that was very nice and came in very helpful. And that was for them considering me to be partially, what do they call it? Like partially handicapped or something like that. Like basically it meant that they kind of figured I was going to continue to have minor problems throughout the rest of my life because my carpal tunnel in the right hand was so severe. So just a little side note there. But to kind of backtrack, yeah, we all have those things here where, like I said, we got to pay our mortgages, we got to pay those bills, and we don't all have time, and not all of us have where we can make a workman's comp claim. Some of us are our own employers. We own our own businesses. So one of the things that I found that I had with the experience with my mom was she had knee replacement surgery right before I had my carpal tunnel surgery. I feel like it was pretty close, neck and neck, but I'm not sure. But anyways, my mom is a hairdresser. And so with that comes no PTO, comes no paid time off, no benefits, no workman's comp, no nothing. And so she had saved up to take 8 weeks off to heal from a open knee replacement surgery. And now she was getting carpal tunnel symptoms while she was at home healing, which for her in the hairdresser industry, she already knew from different clients would have easily been another 6 weeks off work. Could not do that. And my mother is a single income to boot. So we were devastated. We were like, oh no, what do we do? I felt so bad for her because here I have just gone through it. And while surgery was definitely a good choice, she didn't have that option per se. So we were kind of like, what do we do? So I already knew about the acupuncture side of things. I was going to do that as maintenance after my surgery and after I healed. So right away, we got her in with my chiropractor, got her started doing acupuncture and adjustments. And here we are 2 years later. My mom's carpal tunnel does not affect her at all anymore. She still does acupuncture faithfully. She is on more of a maintenance type schedule, I believe. But, that's her deal. I don't want to go into too much detail about that. But acupuncture has worked wonders for her as far as keeping her out of having to possibly look down the journey of carpal tunnel surgery. So, I'm not saying, again, I'm not anyone's doctor. I'm not saying what is going to work for you. I'm just simply sharing an experience that I've had and that my mother's had. That is it. So acupuncture could be something that people can try, and maybe you would have some good experience with it. I know she definitely has, because it's kept her out of having to even go to a doctor for carpal tunnel other than the chiropractor. So that's been amazing. But yeah, those are just kind of some of the things. I pretty much, everything's great. I don't have any problems now with carpal tunnel whatsoever. Life's just totally back to normal. Everything's good. I totally 100% encourage people to get this surgery if you're thinking about it. First and foremost, do both hands at once. I mean, obviously, if you've got little ones at home, you got to be carrying a baby around, something of that nature. You have to make your own discretions, of course. There's nothing wrong with doing one hand at a time. There's absolutely nothing wrong with doing both hands at once. I did do both hands at once, and I didn't regret it at all. I was totally able to do everything that I needed to in the bathroom, in the shower, everything. On some of my other videos, though, I do go into more detail about some of those areas that I wish could have been a little bit different. Like, I wish I just would have thought differently about them. But, I had my husband and everybody there helping me, supporting me. There was just things like, making sure that the ice was cracked, or maybe there was some meals that were already in a container that I could just throw in the microwave, simple stuff like that. Making sure that somebody left the lid off the milk carton, things like that. Leaving the doors cracked open. Yeah. But for the most part, that surgery was the best decision that I ever made. It was super easy. The minute I came out of surgery, my hands felt 10 years younger. And they have remained feeling that way ever since. So, just outside of those minor problems where things do get a little flared up, I did have for several months after my surgery, my incision spot was really red and inflamed. And so the area around it was inflamed. But once we got the acupuncture going and we started really focusing on that part, that all went away. It was like, we can't even see my scars anymore. At least I don't think. Maybe you can on that one a little bit. I'm not sure. It's like right there. But you really can't even see them. So hands are back to normal. Life's good. And like I said, just been living everything day by day, taking it day by day and just being mindful of the stretching. I think stretching is huge. So with that, I'm going to end this video. I hope that I did help you guys out with answering some more of those questions. I did have a lot of people wanting to know kind of just, hey, where are you at today? How are things going? And things are good. So if you guys have any more questions, I will try to be more on top of maybe doing another video or trying to respond. I'm just not always that good with that stuff. I'm one of those people that's not even on Facebook that often. I mean, I don't know. I'm always up running around doing 1,000 things. Life gets busy. So thanks for watching. And if you would, go ahead and subscribe. Like I said, I will try to be better about commenting back on your comments. So thanks, guys. Have a great rest of your week. Bye.